Hey, this is Bob, and I'm down here at the hangar facility in Provo. Been working on our A-26 Invader, November 917 Yankee, and it's been a while since any kind of update except for the pictorial that I put up. So I thought I'd try to bring everybody up to date. And so let me turn the camera around. So here we are. It's a ton of wiring has been done. When I first saw this aircraft, there were two bundles bigger than this one, and that's a good inch and a half across, laying out here on the ground 20 feet. And we've got a couple of guys that just love to do this, and they volunteer in their time, and they're doing a fantastic job. When they're finally finished wiring, all of this will be tied off and made pretty and everything, but it looks pretty to me so far. Inside, behind the firewalls, we've done a lot of work. This whole thing was scrubbed and painted and trying to define what everything was, because when we got this, these wings were sitting vertical on these firewalls, and there was stuff that was crushed that we had to straighten out and understand what went where. And so it's kind of dark in here, but this is a lot of the wiring and plumbing that's gone on in here. This is a 35 gallon oil tank to feed the R2800s and the associated plumbing. This is the unfeathering pump for the propellers. We've got the auxiliary tanks installed. Let me climb up here. We've got the auxiliary tanks installed. We still have some connections down here that have to be safety wired. Let's see here. Yeah, there's some bolts that have to be safetied and some down further down there. The wingtips out there are all fully installed and safetied. Here's the top of the oil tank. This is where the main tank will be when we get it back from the manufacturer. There were some alterations that had to be made. We've got 3 formation lights. Let's see. There, and right here. There's 3 on each wing, and there are supposed to be 3 on the top skin. When this was converted into a VIP transport, they made a new back skin, or the whole top of this was removed, the greenhouse was removed, the gun was removed, and they took out those formation lights. This here is a space to put a life raft in. The back corner of the lid for this is rotted out. We're having to have some English wheel work done and to put that door in flyable shape. Let me get off of here. So here's the cockpit as it sets now. Just recently got the wiring done on the control yokes. And got the really cool Douglas center thing there. Haven't made the decisions on the radios yet, but everything in here is very smooth. The ailerons are rolling, the rudder pedals are all there. Everything works. This is the left nacelle. and that's the engine mount, and I'll show you the engine here in a second. During the course of this, all of this, well, basically everything was stripped out of the cockpit. This was a bare bones. There was nothing in it. The center console was removed. This top, the cockpit cover, this was all gone, and it was blasted and painted. And then we disassembled this center console. There's 150 of these pulleys in here, 48 cables, and we were able to reclaim 100% of all of them, cleaned and lubricated and ready for flight. But all of this was stripped out and cleaned. It's dusty now. Walk around here. Here's the nose. It's all ready to go. And it's all clean and pretty inside. Sorry about the light. We're putting LED lights in the barrels. I think that's going to be really cool. Same with the wing guns. The oil coolers have all been gone through and ready to go. The oil cooler door, it's operational. The flaps were kind of a nightmare because underneath these yellow tabs, yellow covers, there are transmissions. And there's one drive shaft that goes from here through the center and all the way over to the other wing. And it drives these transmissions to roll the flaps out. And they come down to 51 degrees, about right there. We haven't got the landing gear doors hooked up because we're still climbing in and out of here. Here's the landing gear. We've got it. The oleos and the axles are now installed in the mains, so that we could continue on with the work. When the main tanks go in, that hole right there is where the fuel level sender will go. Here's a quick shot of the interior. Now we have the floors made. We had some hydraulic leaks when we were doing the hydraulic system that needed to be cleaned up. And we also have, that's a rotating beacon there. We're trying to find a correct connector for it. When we get that connector, this floor will go back down and the seat will go into its position, and we'll be able to go from there. There will be some really nice reclining seats for passengers. The doorway into the aircraft has all been rejuvenated, and the stairs will flip down, and that'll be in the belly of the airplane. But it just be in the way for now, so it's sitting on the ground. The rudder and elevators, trim tabs are all ready to go. Here's the other nacelle with the landing gear on the floor. Here's the left engine. We're waiting for some fittings to go in the fuel pump. Once the fuel pump's on, we can put the starter on. We can finish getting the hoses and the electrical ran in here. This is the generator. And then once all that's done, we can take this engine, it'll go on the left nacelle. Then we'll put this other engine bell that you saw earlier, will go on. This is what you would call a quick engine change stand. So you put the motor mount on here, and then you can bring the motor the engine and add it to this, and this is where all of the prep goes into getting the engines ready. So then this is the cowl flaps, and this has also got a series of transmissions that operate off of this motor through the front of this engine mount. There's the exhaust stubs, and this engine is essentially ready to put in place once we get all the accessory work done. And again, the oil cooler is done on this side. All that plumbing is done. And we've got a mule here to run the hydraulic system for the landing gear. Let's see, what else can I show you? The wheels have all been cleaned, blasted, and repainted. They're ready for installation. These are the skins, the upper skins for the fuel tanks, the main fuel tanks. When the fuel tanks come back, these will go on, and then these are the outer wing panels that go outboard of the fuel tanks. This would have been a spot where they would get the 3 wing guns in and out of, but that's been, that was riveted off years ago. There's the skins for covering the bottom of the wing for the oil coolers. In here, I'll go for a walk here. In here are the disc brake calipers that are all ready to go, just need to be assembled, but we don't want to do that till we're closer to putting the landing gear on. There's spare cylinders for the landing gear. Let's see. And here is, now the nose gear is not installed because it's just not high enough up off the ground, but it's ready to go as soon as that happens. So the next steps will be to get the main tanks installed. Once the main tanks are installed, we can put the upper skins on that area. And that's a stress skin, meaning it's part of the wing spar assembly. You can't put the engines on until those are on. So we'll get those skins on. We'll put this aircraft up on its landing gear, and then we can start installing the engines. Now, one thing that I just recently realized is that this aircraft rolled out of the assembly line in 1944. 2024 is coming up really soon. 2 years away. Well, a year and a half. I'm really hoping that my goal is to have this flying for Oshkosh in 2024. Don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I'll be down here twice a week working on this aircraft to get it done. And hopefully I'll have some more updates for you before too long. See ya.